Turkish U-Turn in TC, joined by, as you mentioned, a very special guest, Lotsy. And now this is only my second year doing this Radiothon, so this is my second year meeting you. And first of all, I don't know how you do what you do, because you give us so much hope and joy, and you're always happy and upbeat. But for the people who are just tuning in, maybe not know your backstory, you were just saying that you've been doing this now for 30 years.
Yes. I started clowning here in 1986 at Memorial Regional, and in pediatrics, the adult world, pediatrics everywhere, in Memorial Regional, in DiMaggio Children's Hospital. And I thought I would always be a respiratory therapist, because that's what I did. That was my job. That was my profession. So after 10 years of respiratory therapy, I took a clown course at Broward Community College, and I loved it. I was afraid of clowns when I was a little girl. I ran from the circus. But I wanted to know what I was afraid of. I was afraid of all those red wigs and that white face and all that makeup. So I took all that off and just put on a nose and a little lips. And I'm old now, so I have a lot of cracks in my face and wrinkles. But, the kids say they don't look at that. But, it's just all superficial. And so I asked if I could get this job. And our CEO, back then, Mr. Sacco, said, well, you want to give up your profession to be a clown? I said, yes, sir. So he said, write a proposal and a job description. So I did. He took it to the board, and I took it to all the other administrators, and they approved it in 1992. So I transferred from respiratory to clowning. So I just had my 24th year full-time on staff as Lotsy,
Yes.
So it's been a roller coaster ride. And every day here we have happy pain. We have happiness in one room and pain in another room. And I can tell you on any given day, I can go anywhere and I can have joy and happiness. And then all of a sudden, because we have kids who are doing well, and then we have kids who are not doing so well. And so we as a team, our doctors, our nurses, our child life specialists, our respiratory therapists, our environmental services, our PCAs, every department, we together make this hospital what it is. It's not the building, it's the people in this building.
Lotsy, so many of the kids, when we are walking through the halls, and I'm with you, they ask for you. They want you there. And that is amazing. The thing that I think is just unbelievable about you. If a child needs you right before surgery so that they can feel a little bit more comfort, and it's at 5 a.m. in the morning, you're here.
Well, yeah, because see, they'll text me or call me the night before and say, can you come? I'm going to surgery, or I'm going to MRI, or I'm getting chemo. So I know they say it. That's not a good thing to do, but you know what? That's what we do. We do care and compassion and commitment and communication and courage. That's what you have to do to do this. To do this profession, you have to have the 5 C's. One of our doctors, Dr. Morton Schwartzman, who's now in heaven, always said, Lotsy, you live by the 5 C's: care, compassion, commitment, communication, and courage. And it takes courage to do what you all are doing, because this is what makes this all work.
And courage is what you have, because there's stories, Lotsy, that you've come across people that, they're positive stories, and, the kids walk out, but then you've got so many other stories where the outcome is not always the best.
Right.
But there's one story that you share every year. And the message that comes in it of Jonathan is one that I think is so important to everybody, and especially in the world that we're living in today.
Yes.
Where we judge everybody on everything. Will you share it?
So let me just jump in before we do, and before she shares this story, the number that you're going to want to call is 954-602-5437 to become a team player.
Well, we've been doing this for 13 years now. Mm-hmm. Well, we had a little guy. His name is Jonathan, and he was something else. And he came to the Radiothon a few years. And he was going to Disney World for his Make-A-Wish. And he was doing so poorly, but they wanted to get him there, and he wanted to have that Make-A-Wish, so he did. He went to Disney. He came back. And the day he came back from Disney, he came into the hospital and he received platelets and blood. And after his treatment, we sat outside on the stoop across the street. Mm-hmm. And Mom said, Jonathan, tell Lotsy what you did in Disney. He said, I went fishing and I ate ice cream anytime I wanted it. He said, but Lotsy, what I really wanted to do, I wanted to be a regular kid. I said, what do you mean, Jonathan? You are a regular kid. He said, no, Lotsy. Regular kids had to stand in line and wait to go on the rides. He said, but I went first, and I didn't want to go first. I wanted to be in the line with the regular kids. And that, I'll never forget that. And a few weeks later, he went home and he died. So every day when I come to work, I see his brick out there. I see his name, and that's what gives me courage, because I'm a wimp when it comes to all this. But when I'm working with those kids, they just kick your butt, and they inspire you every day. Every day. And you know, when I go to the funerals and I talk and I celebrate these kids' lives, you know, people say, oh, how could you do that? How could you do that? It's so sad. I said, no, it's a celebration of them. And when they ask you, when the parents ask you to go, just like little Brandon, who I met many years ago, and he said, if you get this job as a clown, you could take care of my mom, because she cries all the time, Lotsy, I'm always sick. And that's how I got this job. I wrote a proposal and a job description. I had all the kids help me. And Brandon said, you can take care of my mom. And so if you go to HR, Human Resources, my first job duty is to take care of mommies. So when I'm up in the OR and I see mommies, when they're crying, when their child goes to surgery, or their child's getting chemo, or their child's getting dialysis, any procedure, and I see those moms, I go get a Kleenex, or I'll go over and hug that mom, because that's what Brandon told me to do. And I know he's probably looking down saying, okay, Lotsy, good job.